Okay, I'm starting. 3 people. Anna! Anna's also an author, a wonderful, wonderful author of a broad array of genres, I have to say. Love her books. So cool. And there's a third person who's not showing up yet. Please put a comment in if you're here, because I love seeing you. I love knowing who I'm talking to. Okay, so it's Writer Unedited, number 17. It is the day after Halloween, if you can tell. I'm just here sitting at my writing desk, chatting away without any real script or anything. That's why it's unedited. I'm here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. And you can find previous Writer Unediteds on my YouTube channel, and I will put the link in the comments. So, happy day after Halloween. As you can see, I'm still in the Halloween spirit. Actually, I'm wearing this because some terrific Facebook friend of mine, when I posted a picture of this on Facebook, commented that it's really kind of a tiara. So I thought, oh, good, I'll wear a Halloween tiara, even though it's the day after Halloween. Speaking of the day after Halloween, I had 8 trick-or-treaters. That's all, 8. So this is bad because this is still in my house. How many trick-or-treaters did you guys have? If you put it in the comments, I'd be interested to find out. So this is going to be donated tomorrow because otherwise it will be a bad thing, particularly because I'm on Weight Watchers, as you know. I confess that last night I ate, upside down, 1 little tiny Reese cup. This is a snack size Reese cup, so it's not even the worst I could do, but still bad, 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 bad. And worse that there's so much of it. So hope everybody had a fun Halloween. Again, tell me how many trick-or-treaters you had. I'd really like to know because my number was small, as you can tell. I had them all taking like three pieces of candy every time they came to try and get rid of it. So Anna says, so sorry I didn't get to see you when I attended the NJRW retreat. I am too, Anna. I was bummed out. I had already committed to doing a workshop at the Moonlight and Magnolias conference, and of course, it had to be on the same day as the New Jersey Romance Writers program with Nora Phoenix, which I hear was terrific. I bought the recordings. I haven't listened to them yet, but everybody was very enthusiastic, so I was really sorry to miss it. And then Anna says she had at least 20 trick-or-treaters. Wow, only had a bag of lollipops left. Lucky you. And Sally says, I believe that consumption of 1 piece of Halloween candy is actually required. See, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. Unfortunately, Weight Watchers disagrees. But you know, 1 little tiny Reese cup, how bad is that? How bad can that be? So, is this annoying anybody? Because it's flashing. Maybe I'll put it on here. We'll just do steady. There. It's still lit up, but you can't really tell it's lit up. All right, we'll put it on slow flash. That's fast flash. Here, slow flash. Maybe that'll be less annoying. If it's annoying, I don't know. And Anna Taylor Swearingen says, no one can eat just 1. I ate just 1 last night. That doesn't mean I may not eat another one today. It's very bad. So, I just wanted to say Happy National Authors Day. Happy National Authors Day to you, Anna and Sally, because you are fellow authors. And I'm not even celebrating it because I'm an author. I'm celebrating it because I am so grateful to all the other authors who have given me so much joy with their books and who have gone through the tough grind of getting a book published, whether it's with a publisher or independently. Either way, it's a ton of work and it's hard to put your work out there to have people read it and write reviews of it. I love my reviewers. They say such nice things, but not everybody does, and sometimes that's hard to see. But books, you know, as a child, I was actually shy and quiet. I know, hard to believe when I'm sitting here wearing this flashing headband. And books were really my escape, they made me so happy. They were my way to live many lives beyond the one I was leading, and I think this is true for all of us, right? And ultimately, they made me be a writer. So, you know, thank you. Thank you to all the authors. So many of you. I started to list the ones I was particularly grateful, and I decided it was just impossible because there are so many. And of course, I still have my nose in a book all the time. It's nothing, no different. I'm just maybe a little less shy and quiet since I wear flashing Halloween headbands. Let's see. Sally says, boo to Weight Watchers on Halloween. And she says, I don't know how many trick-or-treaters we got. Mr. M answered the door, but he bought enough candy for about 1,000. I like that. He's prepared. It's good to be prepared. You can always donate it later, right? Or eat it yourself, of course. Sally, I know you can afford to eat it yourself. It may not be healthy, but it won't be a weight issue for you. Anna, you're so welcome, and thank you. Thank you for writing. Thank you for publishing. I'm an author, so it's interesting. There's a technical difference between a writer and an author. A writer is someone who writes, obviously. An author is someone who publishes their writing. You're not an author until you're published in whatever way, until you put your work out there. And in some ways, it's much easier being a writer than being an author, honestly. But I am very happy to be an author. I am so happy to have wonderful readers who close the circle for me because, you know, I need you to bring my characters to life in your minds and the way I do when I read a book, someone else's book. So yeah, happy National Authors Day, and thank you, authors. Thank you, my fellow authors. Okay, what else is going on? Giveaway. So, since it's now November, can you see what I'm giving away? This cool tote bag from the Georgia Romance Writers Conference, Moonlight and Magnolias. And the winner is Mary Jane Hoffman. Congratulations, Mary Jane. I'll be sending that out to you once I get your address, although I think I probably have your address, honestly. So Sally says, well, Son is working from our house. I'm sure he'll kindly help with the candy. Excellent. That's it. Pawn it off on other people. That's my theory, too. Sale books. So last month, my Wager of Hearts books were on sale in the UK, and this month, my publisher decided to put them on sale in the US. So on Kindle, of course, you don't get print books for cheap. And I don't know, the prices range from $1.99 to $2.49 per book. Trying to remember which is which, I can't. So, on sale, The CEO Buys In, The All-Star Antes Up, and one of my favorites, The VIP Doubles Down, because Gavin's a writer. And more billionaires on sale in the U.S. My Second Glances series, Second Time Around, and Second Act. And my editor always called these billionaires with heart because they have rescue dogs and cats and kids in them. And I love these books. So this book, Second Act in particular, was really fun to write because my daughter, so the heroine's a veterinarian, I should say that first, shouldn't I? My daughter was in veterinary school at the time, and when I needed a veterinary scene, I would email my daughter and say, come up with a disease that has symptoms X, Y, and Z, doesn't kill the animal, but keeps them sick for 3 weeks, or whatever I needed. And so she said she would get her fellow vet students together, and they would brainstorm what would work for my requirements. And sometimes I had to adjust my requirements, but mostly they came up with good answers. So Second Act's near and dear to my heart because it was fun to collaborate with Dr. Darling Daughter, who's now a full-fledged veterinarian. Cool, huh? Okay, what else? Well, if you were on Facebook, you know that I went to see a flamenco performance on Saturday in New York City called Authentic Flamenco. And it was very much an impulse purchase. The tickets, I just saw it on Facebook. My daughter always warns me not to buy things from Facebook, but it was real. So I bought the ticket. And of course, it's in honor of Gabrielle, my flamenco guitar playing Royal Duke. And it was interesting. So it was in the East Village, which is, the East Village is very cool and a little seedy, and the venue was very cool and a little seedy. It was like an old church, very dramatic, great lighting and stuff. That was fun. I got to sit on the front row because impulse purchase. I said, what the heck? I'm going to do it right. So I was practically on top of the performers. It was very immediate. It was very loud because, as you know, flamenco has a lot of heel tapping. I occasionally got hit by a little bit of sweat from the dancers. But that was okay. And it was very dramatic and intense and wonderful. And the weird thing was, usually I'm sort of a dance person. And so usually I'm kind of more interested in the dance than the music, the sort of, the accompaniment. But this time, because of Gabrielle, I was actually more interested in the music. It was fascinating. And the guitarist was fantastic. The tocador, that's what you call a flamenco guitarist, a tocador. And he was terrific. And so, because I thought, what the heck? After the performance, so because I bought a front row seat, you also got, just added on to that because it was part of the ticket, you got to meet the performers and have your picture taken with them. You can see that on Facebook too, if you want to see me with the performers. And so as soon as they were done taking pictures, I basically tracked down the guitarist because I wanted to give him a bookmark for my book because, the hero is a guitarist, flamenco guitarist. So I went up to him and said hello, and I said, "Do you speak English?" And he said no. He said, "Very little." I was like, oh no. So in my broken Duolingo learned Spanish, I tried to explain why this random crazy audience member was handing him a bookmark. And I don't know if I succeeded because he still looked a little baffled by the end of the conversation. And I basically said in Spanish, I wrote this book. The hero is a tocador. You are a tocador. This bookmark as well. I didn't know bookmark in Spanish, is for you, as I hand him the bookmark. And then he said, he was very gracious and he smiled and he obviously was trying to comprehend what was going on here. And he took the bookmark and then he launched into some long Spanish thing, most of which I couldn't understand a word of because he was speaking at normal speed for someone who knows Spanish, but way too fast for me. But at the end, I did get buena suerte, which means good luck. So I think he was wishing me good luck with my book, but he may have just been hoping I would go away. But either way, it was really fun. So this is my flamenco fan, right? With Gabrielle on it. Can you see him? See there? Okay. So enough of that. What else? An update on Luis's book, which is going forward. I am so happy because I got Luis on horseback. So I didn't know that was going to happen. Why not? Well, so I finally got Luis and his heroine together. And by together, I mean in bed together. It is amazingly hard to get a king in bed because their time is very highly scheduled, right? So they don't just randomly jump into bed with someone they like. So finally got them in bed though. And then I wrote the scene that tears them apart, which takes place the next morning after they're in bed for the first time. And then I thought, so my critique partners always complain that I'm too nice to my characters. I don't torture them enough. And so I guess I was trying to torture them enough. But I suddenly realized that they deserved a little more happiness before I tore them apart. So I decided the next morning they would not be torn asunder. They would go horseback riding. And if those of you who've read Gabrielle, which I hope is many of you, you will remember that Gabrielle and Raoul also go horseback riding. So it's a reprise of that scene, only different characters, obviously, different tenor, different mood, different things happen. But you know me and horses. I just love horses. And I also just think the king looks spectacular on horseback, of course, because he's, ridden all his life. He's gorgeous to begin with. Guys look incredible in riding boots. I mean, kind of everything about it is just making me happy. So, and I think there probably will be a picnic when they get to a certain place on the mountain. I haven't written that part yet because I'm still just enjoying riding the horse part. But so I'm in my happy place on this book right now. It's really moving. I'm excited about it. Love it. So what else? Oh, okay. So next week I will not be doing a live because I have book club at my house, and it's a lot of prep and stuff. And it's also literally book club goes from noon to 3. Obviously 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon is right in the middle of that. So won't see you next week, but I have to tell you that for book club, I read John Fosse's Morning and Evening. Why? Because John Fosse won the Nobel Prize for Literature, and I decided maybe I should read one of his books. So, because I had never heard of him. Have you ever heard of him? Anybody else heard of John Fosse? So, I just looked up a little background on it. So, the Nobel Prize in Literature 2023 is awarded to the Norwegian author John Fosse, in quote, for his innovative plays and prose which give voice to the unsayable. That's impressive, right? His immense oeuvre, written in Norwegian Nynorsk, which I guess is the language or the dialogue, or the dialect of the language, and spanning a variety of genres, consists of a wealth of plays, novels, poetry collections, essays, children's books, and translations. While he is today one of the most widely performed playwrights in the world, he has also become increasingly recognized for his prose. So just to add to that, on the back of Morning and Evening, it says, he was born in 1959 on the west coast of Norway. He's written over 30 books and 28 plays that have been translated into over 40 languages. His first book was published in 1983. We already said that. Le Monde has dubbed him the Beckett of the 21st century. So this is a translation, obviously, since he writes in Norwegian. And it's a thin book. It's a novella, I guess, essentially. It's, how many pages? 107 pages. Definitely a novella. So it was interesting. And I'll be reporting on it for book club. Book club, we have what's called a no-guilt book club, where you don't all read the same book. I tried one of those book clubs where we all had to read the same book, and eventually I bowed out because honestly, I just often didn't like the books. So our book club, you read whatever you want, and then you come to book club and you report on it. You either recommend it or don't recommend it, but that way it gives other people ideas for new things to read. And I've discovered many wonderful authors through my No Guilt book club. So anyway, report on the book. I started out hating it. It's total stream of consciousness, and it begins with Johannes's birth, the hero, if you can call him that, of the story, literally his birth. And there's, a little bit his father, it's seen from the point of view of his father mostly, and a little bit from Johannes's point of view as a baby, which is interesting. And you hear his father's expectations for little Johannes, which is interesting, because, so that's the morning, because then you jump to evening, nothing in between, still stream of consciousness, and it's the day, and I'm not giving anything away to say this, it's the day of Johannes, who we saw his birth, the day he dies. And what's amazing is, and that's most of the book, the birth is pretty short, because obviously Johannes hasn't done much yet. But it's fascinating because the end, the second half, I should say, gives you his whole life, essentially, in a nutshell. His relationships with his children, with his wife, with his friends, with his work, with his home. It's actually extraordinary. And I got used to the stream of consciousness, and once I sort of relaxed into that, I found myself just turning in the pages, page after page after page, sort of a little bit trying to figure out what was going on too, because it's the day he dies. So it's an interesting way the author handles that. And I found by the end I was in tears. So that's a pretty good endorsement for me. But it may not be for everyone, honestly, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I figured 107 pages, I didn't have to invest vast amounts of time. Also, it was frankly the only thing I could find of his work that I could get quickly in English. So it was interesting. Am I going to go pick up another one of his books? Probably not, because I gather some of them are pretty grim. This one was it wasn't grim, actually. It really wasn't. I mean, there was some hard stuff in it, but it was kind of wonderful at the end, even though it made me cry. So that's my book report on the Nobel Prize winner for literature for 2023, such as my report is. And that's all I got, folks. I won't see you next week, but I'll see you the week after that. And I hope you all enjoy all your leftover Halloween candy, because I might just have to have one more Reese cup before I give it away. And thank you so much for coming. So fun to see everyone. Let me just make sure there are no more comments that that Facebook isn't showing me. No, looks like that's it. Okay, so nice to see you, everybody. Happy National Authors Day to all my fellow authors.